What's up, everybody? Today I figured I would answer a few questions first and then do my trade review. I had a pretty rough day today, um, but we'll talk about it. We'll look at some of the trades. I think that the market as a whole today was just a very, I don't know. I guess that personally I had assumed or gotten a little too comfortable with how yesterday and the previous days this week were that there would be more follow through and that we were quote unquote back. And today it felt like we weren't. Today definitely felt like a couple of weeks ago, which I did great during those couple of weeks, but I mentally played differently. Less follow through, less risk, tighter moves, things like that. Splash of cold water in the face type of day. I will definitely, go back to until I'm a little bit more positive that we're, back in the swing of a good market. I'll go back to kind of that, capital preservation, a little bit more risk adverse style of trading, which I do fine. I do fine. It's a scalper's market always. It's always a scalper's market. So just got to adjust the risk and the in the execution and the plans and things like that accordingly. But first, so one of the first questions I got is a simple one. Somebody asked me, how do I do my charts? How do I pull up multiple charts on the same screen? How do I do the volume and all of that stuff? So this is going to be just a quick little tutorial for anybody who's overwhelmed by Thinkorswim or not familiar with it, things like that. So this is when you open up a chart on Thinkorswim. This is what it's going to look like. And you can do that by, if you go to, I don't want to pull up my account, but if you go up here, the top two, just charts. It just says charts. That's what I go to. Anyways, so your first chart is always going to look like this. It's going to be candle bars, and it's going to be, candles, and then it's going to be this volume here, this blue volume. Now, if you followed any of my videos or you use my method or strategy or edge or whatever, the 2-5-10 system, I use 3 indicators, and then I use a different volume than this. And I'll show you how to set that up real quick. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to come here to settings, style settings. You can also do it from right up here. And you're going to go to equities and show volume subgraph. And you're going to unclick that. You're going to make it to where it's no longer checked. You can hit apply, and that's going to get rid of that ugly blue volume down there. Next thing you're going to do is right click and go to studies, or or you can go up here to studies, and then you're going to do edit studies. So I actually have a set for all of my the different things that I've used in the past and the 2-5-10 system and whatnot. But for this, assume you don't have a set. The first thing I do is an SMA. Simple moving SMA. Oh, these are strategies. I'm sorry. Make sure the studies tab is. I was a little bit worried there. Simple moving average. That is what I use. I don't use an EMA. I don't use EMAs. I know people say they're better for day trading or whatever, but it's just not. It's just not what I use. And then I use a 20 SMA, and then I have it. I don't know what color even you do it. You want to do for this. But now you're gonna click OK to this and hit apply here, and you're gonna see it appear on the screen. Now you come here and you hit duplicate. Oops, that's wrong. Just add another. I can't remember how to do it. It's been so long. And then you come here and do 200. So I use the 20 SMA and the 200 SMA. Those are the two simple moving averages that I use. And you can change the color to, I think mine is red. And you're going to hit apply, and you're going to see there's the 200. Then I do VWAP. Now VWAP actually has, I leave the settings the same up here. But you are going to want to go to get rid of show plot on the upper and lower bands here, simply because they're ugly. They almost work like a Bollinger Band. It shows like standard deviations, as you can see here. But we actually just want VWAP. My VWAP is always yellow. It doesn't really matter what you use VWAP as. But once you've done all that, it'll look like this. You can see here. So that is how you set up your first chart. And then you will do, I do volume average. And that will go down right here. And that is how I have my charts. Now, if you wanted to do multiple charts, so you could have a 2, a 5, and a 10 like I do, you would come over here and you would do 3 boxes. And, you know, you would just link them all up. But you're going to see that you're going to get that ugly blue volume. You're not going to have any studies. So what you can do is you can actually come over here and save study set, which is the things, the volume and the 3 squiggly lines we've set up over here. And you can test study set. Name it whatever you want, right? So we'll save that. And then we can actually just come over here, load study set, and load that same study set. Now you will still have to go to settings here and get rid of the volume subgraph on the equities. You'll have to do that for all of them. But now you come up here to the time. You can do manual times. I actually, for some reason, I don't think 10-minute is on there, so you might have to custom make it. But here's a 10-minute, 5-minute, and a 2-minute. And voila, we have a 2, 5, 10 system. And now to get rid of this stuff, these sidebars, you actually come back up here to this area again. Get rid of show sidebars and cells, and there you go. And that is how I have it. Now I'm going to go back to my default because that's what I'm familiar with. And yeah, so that is how you set up those charts. Now I guess the next thing I'll show you is, and I get a lot of questions about this. So I guess the big thing is to tell you guys is that I don't use Thinkorswim to execute my as my execution platform. I don't use it. I use DOS and Lightspeed, which are on a different platform. I just use Thinkorswim for charts. So I'll show you what that looks like right here, because people ask me all the time how I do my orders. And let me see if I can pop out level 2 right here. Yep. So this is the level 2 for DOS. We'll look at Ford right now. So let's assume that I want to put a bid in for, here, let me make this smaller. Let's assume that in this case, I want to put a bid in for, here, let's go to Tesla. Something that's easy. So let's assume like right here, I was like, yeah, this is a really good zone. I want to short in this zone. My risk is, you know, I don't know, 687, and my PT is right here, which would have been a dank ass trade actually. But anyways, so that's what it would look like on the charts. Bro, you're killing me. As you can see, I'm still not a pro. But so that's what it would look like on the chart, right? How do I automatically do that? Well, I have a hotkey that when I hit, let's assume that I'm, here, let's actually do minus Tesla so that it looks like this is a long position. Cool. Perfect. All right, so everything is the same otherwise. Let's assume that this is, because most of you are going to be focused on long. Let's say I make this zone here. I want to add in this zone. And I want my stop loss to be down here below VWAP. And I want my profit target to be, you know, yeah, 692, whatever. So the first thing I would do is set descending bids. Now, I literally do that by coming over here and going Boop, 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 boop. Okay, how many do I want at the top? 200. What's the price? 696. And then I hit, well, I guess I shouldn't show you guys my account, but it's not a big deal. So I'll hit buy, and then I will immediately go to 300 and then lower this down to, let's assume the stock is $10 or $5.25. And I want to do bids from 520 down to 540. I'll literally just do 100 at 540, and then I'll do 200 at 530. And that's if I have time. Like if the move's way over here, or if it's up here and it's coming down into my zone and I want to add, and I have the time to do all those manually, sure, I'll do it. Alternatively, what I will do is if it's coming down really quickly, as I watch price, I will know, the distance to my stop already. You already factor that in. My stop is down here. My max loss is, let's assume, $100. And, that's 20-cent stop. We're just making numbers up at this point. That's a 20-cent stop. Well, price is coming really, really quickly, and I know 20-cent stop, max I can take is 500 shares to risk $100. So I will just add 100 at a time as price comes in here. I hit Control or Alt 1, Alt 1, Alt 1, and that will buy on the bid, and it'll just place descending bids for me as price comes down, and then they'll get filled. And then I'll see what my cost average is on my level 2 or my position. I don't have my position chart up, but it'll tell me my positions with my average cost. And then I'll say, okay, now I need my stop loss to be down here. I will literally go over here to my stop, look at how many positions I got filled, and type in, it'll auto-populate this or whatever your position is, and type in my stop. And again, if price is moving quickly, I have hotkeys for 10 cent or 5 cent, 10 cent, 20 cent, 25 cent, 30 cent, 35 cent, 30, all the way up. I have hotkeys for that. So if I know, like, okay, I'm filled in here, I know that this is 20 cents just because I've already looked at the chart. I'll just hit boom, Control 2 or whatever, and it'll automatically, based on my average cost, put a stop loss 20 cents below. And those are hotkeys that you can set up in any brokerage, Webull, TOS, DOS, all of that stuff. So if you just get comfortable and familiar with hotkeys, it'll really, really expedite the speed of your executions. And that's important in scalping, right? Because sometimes it's very, very quick. And then for take profit, I just sit here. I go, okay, this was my profit target. Once my stop is up, I've been filled in. My stop is up. I might still have bids on the screen here, and that's okay. If it taps me in again, I will hit cancel and then hit my hotkey to put my stop up again, and that stop will be adjusted for the position size that I'm now tapped in on because the bids got filled that were still pending. And once I'm comfortable with that, I always keep a stop up just in case it goes. I always have a stop up no matter what. So sometimes it might be like 500 shares and there's still 500 shares left to be tapped in, but that'll at least keep me protected because typically limit orders don't, on like hard knives, limit orders don't fill because they prioritize cost over speed, regardless. So that's the way I do it based on the separate platforms that I use, my DOS and Lightspeed and this and Thinkorswim, right? Now, it's actually even easier if you use Thinkorswim because you can use bracket orders. And same thing with Webull. You can actually make orders that when you buy in, you will put, okay, take profit at this and stop loss at this. Now, I'm not sure how that works with scaling out, if you have to constantly cancel and reapply your orders or what. But anyways, and when I go to take profit, I literally, after my stop is up, my bids are done or whatever, I've dealt with this. I will then come up here and be like, okay, 1170 is where I'm taking profit. I'll type it in so that I can hover over this. And as soon as it gets up there, I'll be like, boop, I sell. Alternatively, if price is moving quickly, like I mentioned earlier, I have a hotkey that sells my current position size on the ask. So if it's moving really quickly, I can just hit Control S and it'll put my sell order based on what the ask price currently is, which is, in this example, 1136. But you'd keep an eye on that, the bid and the ask spread. Now that's how I do it. I guess there's some confusion. People think that that I don't have to constantly be monitoring it. But once I'm in a full position and my stop is up, there's nothing for me to do. I type in what my profit target is, and I can leave the room. I can go get coffee. I can whatever, because I know that no matter what's going to happen, it's going to stop me out. Worst case scenario. And the other alternative is that it's going to go up here. Now, I don't have an order that's automatically going to sell that, but generally, if I need to go pee or something, I'm comfortable with doing it. Simply because I don't, now that depends. Sometimes stocks go right and they just rocket, and I know that based on how the stock has moved throughout the day or throughout the morning so far or whatever, they're like, okay, this one is one that's not going to allot me a lot of time, so I'm gonna have to watch this one. Some of them I'm like, oh, okay, this is a 20-minute position or whatever. I can, I probably have time to, step away or focus on other things. So yeah, that is how I'll keep that up for now. That is how I do my orders. I know there's probably a lot of confusion on that. What was a good stock today? Let's do VXRT in the morning. Anyways, so yeah, that is how I do my orders. Now let me show you what it would look like if you were using Thinkorswim. Now I use Thinkorswim and Webull to do my charts because my execution platform is different. So if you see me posting charts from Thinkorswim or Webull, know that I don't use either for my execution. I use them purely for charts because I like the way that they chart. Webull, I like the way it charts on mobile. If you use Thinkorswim on mobile, it's like high key trash. I hate it. Webull is, in my opinion, the best mobile charting app. So I use Webull for charts when I am on my phone, and when I am here, I will use Thinkorswim just because it has a little bit more. I have way more screens and whatnot, but. Now, if I did at one point in time use Thinkorswim as my execution platform. I used to have money in a Thinkorswim account when I was trading, and the way that I would do it is to have remove. So I don't like market sells and market buys. Now, if you're on Thinkorswim, that's probably not a big deal because you don't have to have you don't have commissions. So that's actually pretty dope. So market might be fine. But I almost exclusively buy on the bid and sell on the ask. Now, cool. I think you moved this one up. I can't remember. Okay, whatever. So let's say that, let's do 100 shares. Let's say that I'm charting VXRT right here, and I want in on this pullback at, let's assume right here. Let's say I charted this out, 910 down to 9. I would come down here to 910 and say, okay, 100. Oh shit, that's a god-awful noise. Sorry guys, I forgot that it makes that noise. And it looks like it's not working right now simply because the market is closed and I don't have any money in this account. But I would shift click 100, shift click 100, shift click 100, shift click 100, and I would just do my descending bids that way on this price ladder here on Active Trader. Then, same, just like I mentioned earlier, let's assume my stop is here, my PT is, fucking balls. Let's assume my PT is up here, right? I would then, once I was tapped in full or whatever, or had my bids, you can also use hotkeys the same way I explained earlier, but you could just come down here to your 886 or whatever, do 500 shares or however many bids you've set up, and just do, okay, shift click right here on this side. And that you can see right here that it says stop. Then You can actually, you know what? I should do on demand to show you guys how this actually works, because it's way more helpful if I can actually have the thing work. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what day this was, but it's not important. So here we go. You'll see it up here on the chart. So let's say I'm like, damn, I really want to get in here. 665 down to 662. I'll come over here with 100 shares or whatever, and I'll be like, yes, 665, 664, 663, 662, 66. And, you know, if you wanted to descend them and increase their value, you would quickly 200, 300, whatever, right? And I have my descending bids. Cool. And then they obviously appear up here. Well, let's assume that I get, here, let's just take a big position here. Cool. All my bids have been filled, right? I'm in 1,000 shares up here. Well, I will come over here. I hit 1,000. I want my stop to be at 6.6. Shift click, boom, I've got a stop. I want my profit target to be at 676. Boom, take profit. It's that simple. I mean, it's as easy as it gets on Thinkorswim. And then one of these two will hit, right? Not a big deal. One of these two will trigger, and I will come up here and hit cancel all to cancel the one, or you just come click the X or whatever. Now, I also think you can actually just do, yeah, I mean, that's not very fast. So yeah, let's say, okay, shoot, I want to get in on this move. Put those bids down there. Okay, that's 3,000 shares. Cool. My stop needs to be 655. I want to take profit at 675. There you go. As you can see that there. And, you know, obviously one or two will get hit. And that's how you would do it if you were using Thinkorswim. Now, there's actually, you can actually use what's called bracket orders. Let me see. Which do all of it at the same time. Let me, okay. Make sure that I have. So you would come right here, trigger with 2 brackets or OC, right? So let's cancel all. Yes. I'm currently in 1,000 shares. Let's just sell that. Oh. Cool. So now that that's done, we'll come over here to this, right? Oops. There we go. So let's say I want to buy here. Oops, I fucked it up. I want to buy here, and I'm going to have a stop order that's going to be offset 10% or, you know, what have you. I'm going to go over here and say, all right, cool. As you can see on the left side, there's going to be my buy 1,000 or, oh, you know why? It's because I'm in a position. Cool. So, okay, so we come over here. We'll do a one of these. So you can see here that I can put my limit there. I put my stop there. Send, boom. There you go, right? There's my stop. Now, I'm not as familiar with this. I've just been told that's how you do it. So, you know, somebody who's a little bit more experienced than me can probably tell you how to do it better. But, yeah, you will click this little arrow to see the templates, and you'll do it that way. So, again, my favorite way to do it is, let's assume I want to do descending bids like this. 400 shares. Come over here to 400. sell stop, sell limit, boom. Profit target, stop loss, bids, right? Now on Webull, there's literally a take profit, literally a take profit, a stop loss take profit order, where when you buy your stock, you can actually input and you can adjust it over time if you want to adjust it. You want to put you can put your stop loss and your take profit there. So again, it's done all at once. It's done for you. So those are the two questions I get asked the most. How do I set my charts up, and how do I do my orders? So hopefully that hopefully that clears up some things for you guys there. Now we can move on to the trades I took on the day. Let's see. Palmer. Let's see. I didn't post a whole lot today. I had meetings early in the morning. So I was unable to, be calling stuff out like I usually do in chat and what have you. So I apologize if, people were expecting me to do so. Unfortunate. Trust me, I wish I could have been here. Alrighty, VXRT, I'd like 955 down to 94. Oh wait, never mind. But I didn't take that. That was right before the bell. Okay. Okay. VXRT. I ended up taking. I ended up saying I'm already at work at this point. I think I'm in at 966 up to 977, watching for the reversal on the 10. Beautiful wicks to tap me in. Tight stop at 948. So that was at 918. So that would have been right here. What did I say? 966. Up to 977. So yeah, I was in right here. It wicked down. Oh, wait. 918. Yeah, so it wicked down to fill me. And then I sold up here at the pop above 10. 10 was my PT. Like I mentioned, 9.5 was my stop. And that was an all right trade. I mean, I didn't make a lot, but I didn't do bad. I didn't lose. So that's kind of what I was looking at here. Now, on the 10, you'll notice that at that point in time, what we saw was 918. So that would have been about, we saw this. This is what I saw on the 10. So I was hoping for and expecting a, potential rally upwards. Beautiful, the zones that I created were based off of these. So was my profit target and what have you. So I was, really counting on some solid support here based on pre-market levels and some follow through up. But, the story of the day was just that follow through was just not present. And I should have realized that from the first couple of trades that I took. But I continued to take trades, based on this one's going to rebound or this one's going to continue in trend thesis, as opposed to identifying the trend for what it was, a pop and a drop, which was, it was a pop and drop market today. It really was. So I did take profit on that at 10, and I did, make a good trade there. So that was one win of not very many. I said VXRT, there she goes, beautiful move to 10, got ads all the way down to 959. That's probably all I have for today, unfortunately. Good luck all, because I was at work. And the guy that I was supposed to meet for a meeting never even showed up. Can you believe that? What a guy. What a guy. So I went to work and missed out on trading for nothing. So DLPN is my biggest loser on the day, actually. I don't remember exactly where I traded it. Let me see. 13 to 1283. but I don't know if that's where I got in. No, it wasn't. 1327 to 1302, and that was at 1035. So 1035 right here. I said, what did I say? 1327 to 1302. 1327 to 1302, basically. So price did eventually come down to fill me. Curled up a little bit. Now, I should have, knowing that it was, pop and drop city out here today. That's still not a bad play, though. I mean, if you look at that, and that came here and bounced off of that, that's still a pretty beautiful trend. It would have looked like this on the big picture in this direction here if it collected and continued. So, but again, pop, drop. That's the story of the market today. It was a pop and drop market. And that happens. And, I was tricked, I guess you could say, because of how, how really solid the past few days have been with follow through and stuff. But here we go. I got filled. I was in, my stop loss was down here based on 1275. My profit target was, first one was up here, and the second one was 14. The third one was going to be high of the day. But it obviously came through my zone and tapped me out. So I was like, okay, cool. Not a bad trade. I mean, I assessed my risk. I lost my max risk. Not a big deal. Well, then I got back in again, and I was like, okay, here we go. We're respecting the zone. I just set a zone too high. And as you can see, it came up. It tested the 20, and it failed again. And I got stopped out down here. Once the market order filled, it was actually down here somewhere. So I ended up losing significantly more than my max risk, like double. So essentially, I had lost 3 trades worth of money in those 2 trades right off the bat. I had gotten rid of my VXRT win, and I was now in the red on the day because of that. Now, in hindsight, what do I think about this move? I still believe that had it come right here and like this, if this continued up, that's a good trade. Now, I should have realized that on DLPN, just like VXRT, we can go look at that really quick, that it was very much a high up and then a significant sell-off. Like, these are kill candles, you know what I mean? And DLPN was the same situation, and I didn't have the foresight, I'd like to blame it on the fact that I was on mobile the whole day. But, I just didn't have the foresight to see that, like, these sell-offs were indicative of a pop and drop market. I could have, made my tops tighter, made my stops tighter. I could have raised or lessened my position size. I definitely, if you were like, hey, it's a pop and drop market today, and trust me, I would have, obviously not tried for the continuation and re-entered on my zone because it ultimately failed. There was RLGY, is another loser on the day. Not a big one. This was a pretty moderate loser. It was low volume, but man, look at this. Pop, drop. It was just, you'd think that after the first one, I would figure it out, or the first 2, or the first 3, but alas, no such luck. So yeah, right here, we had RLGY. I called at 10:18, so that would have been right here. At 10:18, I called 1742 down to 1726. 1742 down to 1726. And I set my bids, and it, at first, I was like, oh, okay, good, finally. Retribution, we're saved. And, on the trend, that would have looked like that, which would have been beautiful, a great trend. I don't, again, had I identified the pop and drops on all the runners on the day. Like, if you go through the charts of all of the top gainers on the day, so many of them were pop and drops. Most of them, in fact. And, sometimes it's good to thumb through all of the gainers, whether you're going to play them or not, and just kind of look at what charts are doing. Because, 2 or 3 of these without the bias of being in a position. And I could have been like, oh, wow, it's pop and drop city today. Like, duh, look at that. It's obvious. But, being out of my element on the phone and all that kind of stuff, I definitely didn't, come to that realization until I was already, quite a bit in the red. But yeah, you can see here that it bounced off of my my zone here, came through, touched on VWAP. I got filled. I'm like, dope. This is a wick. You're seeing these candles right here. Stay above it. This move, this action. I was like, yes, this is gonna go, and then it didn't. And then it just didn't. My stop was 17.2 on this one. It was rather tight, small loss. But it immediately caved. The reason my stop was so tight is because, there was significant sell-off action. And, I was hoping that with a series of sell-off that, the sellers would be done selling. Who is still selling at this point. But apparently there are a lot of people, it turns out. But anyways, the lack of volume as a whole, like this is tiny volume, below 40,000. I was hoping that, maybe we get a slow curl up towards the day, but we gotta fade. And that's okay. That was a small loss. I wish they all could have been as small. Unfortunately, they weren't. And then I made all of it back. My whole day I made back on WVVI. And I ended the day from like 800 or 900 or 1200 red or something like that based on a few trades. There's got to be some I didn't chart. I had more losers than that. Let me look. Oh, let's see. Oh, this is the wrong account. Hold on. Oh, RHE. Yes, RHE. That was another one. RHE. Yep. That was one I didn't call out because it was a halt, and I don't want people taking halts. It's my own advice to not take halts, and boy, did I get my ass whooped. Yep, right here. So it halted up here. I bought down here at the 6th level. My average cost was 6. My stop was 5.8. And it actually knifed so hard that when it came down to 6, it stopped me out like 5.7 or so, which is not a big deal. I mean, it happens sometimes. But again, don't play halts. Just don't do it. Look at that. Again, I mean, how many times do we need to see it today? This is motherfucking pop and drop. Pop and drop city, dude. All day, all day. That's all that we saw. That's crazy. Look, in hindsight, it's like, wow, it's very obvious. But anyway, so that was another loser. WVVI was my one winner on the day that saved me. Or my second winner, but the first good winner that really saved me. And I almost got back in with the anticipation of the ascending triangle, but I at this point was already so tired of losing on the day that I took my gains on this, and it was like, it's not worth it. And it's good because it immediately knifed afterwards. It popped and dropped. So yeah, you see this beautiful ascending triangle. It got up here and I was like, oh dude, here we go. But a bullish pattern sold off, crashed even. I mean, this is, that's a whole dollar, over $1. Anyways, my zone on this one was 15.19 to 14.8, and that was at 12:08. 14.19. Well, that can't be. Oh, I'm sorry, 15.19. 15.19 to 14.8. Now, again, if you're curious how I make these levels, chart them out yourself. You'll see that they're mostly based off candles on the 10 and 5. Previous price action in the day. So anyways, I got filled here in beautiful fashion too. You love to see wicks just come down and fill you and then take you on a ride. That is super ideal. But I ended up getting a cost average down below. My stop here was 14.5. My PT was 16. So I was risking 50 cents or 30 cents to make over $1. My cost average, I ended up getting down like below 15. So I ended up making a dollar and change off of this move. Beautiful move. This is like really the only follow through of any of the tickers I played today that, continued up. And even it still wedged before it failed. So just a pop and drop market today. I'm kicking myself now for realizing it too late. But I ended up making an entire dollar move right here. And this is the situation where, especially given the ascending triangle, had I not gotten my ass kicked all day, I would have been bullish on like, hell yeah, let's add on the consolidation. It's about to break a bullish pattern. We'll add to our winner, and we'll just ride for a huge, disgustingly huge trade. But I sold it entirely at 16, and wept some tears because I was my day was saved. I went from negative 1,200 to like up like $80 or something like that. So still not happy with the day. It shouldn't take a miracle winner to save your day. I should have been done trading when I had lost on the first couple. I remember telling myself, I'm on my phone. This is not going well. I ended up saying in chat, actually, I was like, damn, I said, thank God I'm not trading as much today. Everything I've looked at has failed. And, sometimes it's like that. And it's more important than ever to remember to have proper risk management and, because the only reason that this trade was able to save me was because all the failures that I had taken up to this point, I was out for 200. I was out for 100. I was out for 180. I was out for 300. You know what I mean? So by the time that happened, I'd accumulated significant loss over the day, multiple losses on multiple tickers, but it only took or two technically. I went on VXRT as well. Two plays today made up for the 5 or 6 losses, right? And the only reason for that is because I didn't move my stops and I didn't oversize, and I traded my risk system exactly the way. Now I'm still unhappy with the day because I made mistakes that were, looking back on it now, were very obvious. How can I do better in the future? Well, I can, like I mentioned, go through the list of gainers on the day and see what the overall sentiment is doing. At one point, a SPY was knifing, and that was causing a lot of panic. And there's so many things that you can look at. Just go through the charts. I could have looked at the top 5 gainers and saw that they were all pop and drops and thought, okay, well, I need to adjust my pullback method accordingly. Because the biggest weakness in the 2-5-10 trend scalping strategy is when trends don't have follow through. Because you have to, you're hoping on a pullback, you're adding a pullback, and if it fails and reverses, then you're going to lose. Then that defeats that's the rock to my scissors, essentially. But as long as you make those losses small and you realize what's taking place and why those losses are happening, because trends aren't following through, then you can either stop trading for the day, or you can go watch a ticker and just focus on maybe 1 or 2 tickers that have a lot of volume that seem to be following through. Like I could have watched this one at 10:30 on and been like, okay, yeah, this is the one I'll focus on, and try to take my scalps up, as much as I can. So that is that's it for me today. Not super happy on the day, just because it's not about the money. It's the fact that I let it get to the point that it was at. I should have been done trading. I was on the phone. I was making bad decisions. I wasn't looking at overall market sentiment. So whether or not I would have finished the day negative 1,200 or up 80, it's irrelevant. It's a losing day for me, mentality wise, because simple mistakes kind of crept their way in. And, I got to be hard on myself on times like that, because that's how in the future I will, make sure that after the first move or two fails on a pop and drop or something, I'll be like, oh shit, remember that one day. Remember, what happens when, let's take a breath. Let's not take any trades for a little bit. Let's thumb through the top gainers, the top charts on the day, and see what their moves are. And, had I done that after the second trade, the second loser, I would have immediately saved myself three, four more losses on the day. And then this big winner, this good play, wouldn't have just dug me out of the hole I had created. It would have made for a really good day of games. So you know, I lose. I lose a lot. I do lose. I mean, I have red days. I almost had a big red day today. So it's very important to realize that like your favorite traders or the people that you ask questions in chat or you see posting in the floors and whatever. It's important to remember that those people lose, and that it's impossible to not lose. So just make sure the losses are, paper cuts, so that the one or two trades on the day that are good, really solid trades, make up for that and then some. So I hope all of this has helped today. If the order system and the charts and all that stuff wasn't clear enough, holla at me and I will do my best to reiterate it in the future or go over anything I might have been unclear about. That's it for today, guys. Have a great rest of your night, and I hope tomorrow is better for all of us. Be well.